All right, so we're going to go over all 6 questions. I'm going to be writing on the white sheet of paper. You'll be looking at each question. I've written down the problems kind of briefly on here so that you can see what the problem and the different answers. Some of the problems I did not write the answer choices because we are just looking for one specific answer. For the first one, can somebody read that for me? Dante, go ahead.
Which expression is equivalent to 8w plus 4?
All right, so which one of these are equivalent to this? So I don't want just an answer. Let's go through all the different answer choices. So A, we have 4 times 2w plus 2. If I'm going to, what property do I need to use, Ashley? Distributive property. So when I distribute, I need to distribute the 4 to what 2 numbers? All right, so I'm going to multiply 4 times 2w, 4 times 2. 4 times 2w is what? 8w, and 4 times 2, positive 8. Is that the same as this? No. So we know answer choice A is out. So let's go to B. So let's go to the next one. You have a point. We are going to distribute what to sections B? What are we distributing here? The same thing, right?
Yes.
So 4 times 2w and 4 times 3. 4 times 2w is
8w.
And 4 times 3?
12.
Miss Louie,
Yes.
can I have Glory ask him to come to the front office for a second, please?
Okay. All right, so 8w plus 12. That kind of looks funny how I wrote it. I almost forgot to write the variable. Now, this is something that I'm noticing on a lot of people's work. They're multiplying the 2 numbers, and then the variable just disappears. Or they end up writing the variable on both of the numbers they distributed to when only one of them had a variable. So be aware of that. So is 8w plus 12 equal to 8w plus 12? Yes. Now, looking at our other choices, there's already a 12 here. So can 12 times 4 be 12? No. So that messes it up. And then can 8 times 4 be 8? No. So that 8 there messes it up. So some of you missed this problem because you just didn't take a second look or just distribute to find your final answer. All right? So that's number 1. Your answer should have been B. Do not just circle the correct answer on this blue paper. Make sure you're writing down why or writing down some work so you can remember why this answer is the answer. All right, number 2. Which expression is equivalent to 8n minus 6 minus 5n plus 4? So are we distributing anything here?
Yes.
Well, in the first parentheses, are we distributing anything? No. So what can I go ahead and do with that? Joanna? Close the door, please. You can just go ahead and bring it down, right? So 8n minus 6. Now, is there anything I can distribute in the second parentheses? Yes, that negative. Now, since there's not a number next to the negative, we can say that that's negative what?
1.
Negative 1. All right, and so negative 1 times 5n, negative 1 times positive 4. So what is negative 1 times 5n?
Negative 5n.
Negative 5n. And negative 1 times 4?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. Another most common mistake. A lot of people are distributing, but not distributing to that second number. You only change that first one. Make sure you check that before you start adding like terms. Now, our like terms here are 8n and 5n, negative 5n, negative 6, and negative 4. So some people are still circling all of the terms. Don't just circle them and say, okay, 8n, negative 6, 5n. The reason we're circling some and then putting a square around some is because we're trying to identify which one of these are going to go together. So looking at 8n and 5n, 8n minus 5n is what? 3n. And then -6, -4. Are those the same sign or different? Same. And same signs do what? So we need to add these two. 6 plus 4 is what? 10. But we need to keep the sign. So 3n minus 10. All right? So make sure you write this down. Even if you remember thinking you got it right, write this down so you have these steps. All right? So moving on to the next one. We have 14.8 minus 4.3 minus 17.1 minus 3b. So we need to, we're not distributing anything here because there's no parentheses, right? So what do I need to do with this? Bring it on down, right? So 14.8, bless you, minus 4b. And now this negative, what are we going to do with that? Okay, so we can turn it into a -1 first and then distribute. Now what operation are we using when we distribute? Multiplication. Some people are still adding. You see this and you're like, oh, -1 and -3, they end up with -4. So make sure you are multiplying when you're using distributive property. So -1 times 17.1. So -17.1. And negative times -3b. Negative times negative is positive. So I can write positive and then I'm going to bring down my 3b. All right. So now we can locate our like terms. We have 14.8 and -17.1 and then -4b and positive 3b. So 14.8 and -17.1, are those the same sign or different? Different. So we need to go ahead and do what operation? Subtract. So I'm going to have my 17.1 minus my 14.8. And what is, can 1 minus 8? No, so we need to borrow, make this an 11, make this a 6. 11 minus 8? 3. Bring down my decimal point. 6 minus 4? 2. So we have 2.3. Is 2.3 going to be positive or negative? Negative. Negative because the larger number here is negative. And then 4b, -4b plus 3b. Same sign or different? It's different. We have a negative and a positive. So what operation are we going to use? Subtraction. So 4b minus 3b is 1b, or just b. And so is it going to be positive or negative? Positive. So it's going to be negative because the 4 is larger. So we can rewrite this as -2.3 minus b, or minus 1b, depending on what you're more comfortable with. If you don't really need the b there, the 1 there, because it's still going to be 1b with or without the 1. All right. So the next problem, we needed to find the perimeter of a rectangle. And in order to find the perimeter, we need to add up all the sides. All right. So some people went ahead, added up all of this here. They had 12x plus 3. And if this is 12x plus 3, what's this down here? This is 12x plus 3 as well. So they said, okay, what's 12x plus 3? 2 times. So that's going to give me 6 plus 24x. And then we have 2, 9x minus 7. If this side is 9x minus 7, then this side is also 9x minus 7. And I hope you're not just watching. Please be writing this. So 9x minus 7, 2 times. So 9x minus 7, 9x minus 7. I get a -14 and a 18x. So now I have 2 sides here and 2 sides here. I can put those two things together. I have 24x plus 6, 18x minus 14. These two are different signs. 14 minus 6 is going to give me a 8, negative 8. And then 24 plus 18, 8, 12. I have 42x minus 8. Are we understanding what I did so far?
Yes.
All right. All right, so all I did was add up all my sides. I've added everything together. And so I got 42x minus 8. But do we know what x is equal to? Did they tell us in the problem?
Yes.
Yes, it said x is equal to 3. So I'm going to plug in 3. So 42 times 3 minus 8. And 42 times 3,
126.
126 minus 8.
118.
118. Now, this is one way. This is a long way to do it. Now I'm going to show you a shorter way to do it. If they didn't ask for a simplified expression, you don't need this 42x minus 8. Since they said x is 3, we can start by plugging in 3 first. So, looking at this side here, 12x plus 3, I'm going to go ahead and plug in 3. So I have 12 times 3 plus 3. So what's 12 times 3?
36.
36 plus 3.
39.
All right, so this side is 39 right here. So if this side's 39, what's this side down here?
39.
39 as well. Now I'm going to do the same thing with 9x minus 7. I'm going to plug in my 3. So 9 times 3 minus 7. What's 9 times 3?
27.
27 minus 7.
20.
And so if this side is 20, what's this side?
20.
20. So I quickly found all of the sides of my rectangle. Now I just need to add them all together. So 39 plus 39 plus 20 plus 20. 39 plus 39,
Is 78.
78. And then 20 plus 20, 40. So 78 plus 40.
118.
And I get the same 118 I got over here. So no questions yet, but make sure when you're doing a problem like this, perimeter, we need to add up all of our sides. It doesn't matter if you add up all the expressions first or if you find what the expression will equal and then add up all the sides. Either way, you're going to get the same result. So your choice on which way is better for you. All right. All right, number 5. They're asking which expression out of the expressions that are given are not equal to the other 3. So for the first one, they gave us a simplified expression. Can you simplify 9n minus 6 anymore? No. So that one is stuck how it is. Now our job is to figure out, does any of these equal 9n plus minus 6, or are all the rest something different? So for the first one, to simplify this, what do I need to do? All right, so 3 times 3n,
9.
and then 3 times negative 2, minus 6. So 9n minus 6 has shown up 2 times. So that means one of these equals this over here, and one of them don't. So for this one, what are our like terms here?
And 9.
All right, and then at negative 6 doesn't go with anything. So 9 and n, 9n and n. Are these like terms? Yes, and they're same sign. 10n plus negative 6. Is this equal to the others?
No.
So we can see that this one doesn't go. But let's just check the other one just to be sure. What are our like terms?
3 and
Negative
12.
12.
So 12n and negative 3n. 12 minus 3n is,
9.
and then bring down your minus 6. So that one works. So it would have to be, this one is not equal to the other three. Let's go on to the next one. Our last problem. The last problem is X. Can somebody please read it?
X minus 0.2 X.
The problem on the paper.
A store offers a discount of 30% off the regular price of a t-shirt. The expression X minus 0.3X represents the discounted price Mike paid for a t-shirt. Which expression also represents the discounted price of the t-shirt?
All right, so this X represents how much the t-shirt cost, and we know that the t-shirt is 30% off, so we're finding 30% of X, and then we're subtracting it from the total cost. So for this expression here, they're basically asking us to simplify it. Now, if there's nothing in front of this X, we know that we can put a what in front of it? A 1. But instead of putting just a 1, since this second number is a decimal, I'm going to go ahead and put 1.0. So now I can see, okay, I have 1.0 and 0.3. So how can I subtract these two decimals? Because are these like terms?
Yes.
Here's an X, here's an X. Now the only thing different is these numbers here. How can I subtract decimals? Okay, we got to line them up. So I'm going to write it differently. 1.0x minus 0.3x. And so now when I rewrite this, first I'm going to bring down my variable. And so I have 1 minus 0.3. Now can 0 subtract 3?
Nope.
So I'm going to make that a 0, make that a 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. Bring down my decimal point. So my answer will be 0.7x. So that's how much I'm going to be paying for my shirt. I'm going to be paying 7.7 times the cost. So if the cost is $20, if I multiply by 0.7, it'll give me how much my shirt is really going to cost. So it'll probably cost maybe $14. All right. Just let me pause this.